5. Nature Citizen Science. By far the easiest and most flexible, citizen science is an easy way to get involved in scientific research with only a little time on your part and the need for some electronic device and internet. You don't even have to know how to identify any species. Oftentimes, you will have free resources to help you learn, or a whole community to check your guesses, an AI identification tool, or more frequently, a combination of all free. The most important thing to remember when joining a citizen science project is to be nice and patient, properly understand what are the practices you should follow for data quality, and be open to learning more as you go along. SciStarter is a huge database of citizen science projects and events, but is honestly overwhelming to begin with, and many of the projects are either poorly constructed or non-functional, primarily because most citizen science projects are chronically underfunded. The best ones to start with include eBird, by far one of the largest and oldest ongoing citizen science projects, and is as simple as submitting checklists of birds you hear or see while in your yard or walking in a park. It has a free mobile app and an easy-to-use website with tons of bird useful data, and even a secondary mobile app called Merlin Bird ID to help with learning to and identifying birds in the field. In the future, I will make a full playlist course about this amazing citizen science project, but if you don't want to wait, just search eBird tutorial on YouTube and you will find plenty of videos to help you get started. Another large, though still a little buggy and underfunded website is iNaturalist. All you have to do to participate is download the app, take photos of birds, insects, mushrooms, plants, and anything on your walks or even in your yard, allow the in-app AI to take a best guess at the possible species or genus, and allow the photos to upload to the database. After that, an online community of nature identifiers will do their best to identify your submission, trying to get it to research grade status when it will be used for actual scientific research. If you don't want to submit images to iNaturalist, you can instead teach yourself to be an identifier, also known as a confirmer of the species in other people's images. iNaturalist 2 deserves its own playlist. 4. Set up a bird bath. If you have physical space to help with nature conservation, this is by far the easiest first step. A bird bath will require daily or weekly cleaning, but has the potential to attract a much wider variety of birds than a feeder ever will, and depending on the material, may be a one-time investment or completely free if you reuse something. Just remember that bird baths made out of smooth materials may be slippery for birds to grip, so adding pebbles may help attract more birds, and keep baths shallow, somewhere between 1 or 2 inches deep. As YouTube's expert on bird bath maintenance, design, construction, and more, simply check out my bird bath playlist. I do have to admit a lot of the videos have music audio issues, but as my most watched videos, they're also on the top of my list for remakes, so stay tuned and vote for remakes in my video votes. Bee baths, butterfly puddles, and ponds are other water sources you can provide, but more difficult to get right. I'll cover these in more detail in future videos. 3. Instead of doing a few things, don't do a few things. Sometimes accomplishing something is not about doing more, but doing less. By avoiding nearly any use of any sort of chemical, including pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and even artificial fertilizer, you're reducing the amount of harmful chemicals entering the environment, preventing poisoning of not just plants, birds, and their food source insects, but eventually entire ecosystems in the long term. A lot of insecticides and herbicides don't even work, as most common lawn weeds and insects have already evolved natural resistance. Instead, switch to hand pulling of weeds using natural fertilizers and more natural methods of insect control. Another thing you could easily not do is use bright security lights around your house, as they confuse moths, butterflies, beetles, and other insects who eventually die of exhaustion or get eaten by birds who find them there in the morning. To preserve your security, the ability to see the night sky, and our insects, simply switch these out for motion sensor security lights, which are often just as bright, solar-powered, longer lasting, and usually even better at scaring off intruders. The last thing not to do to help nature is blow the leaves. Leaves are one of the most crucial components of habitats in nature, providing areas for butterflies, all sorts of insects, toads, frogs to overwinter, foraging area for birds, and natural fertilizer for plants when they decompose. Instead of blowing them and putting them in plastic bags or having them shredded along with all the insect life in them, try to leave them in at least one corner of your yard, or in garden beds around your yard, and use a rake to gently move them out of the places you don't want them. By not using a blower to move the leaves, you're minimizing disturbance of the life in the leaves, reducing noise pollution, and getting some good exercise too. 2. Set up some bird feeders. Feeders are one of the easiest ways to get close to our feathered friends and nature, but are this far down the list because of the amount of investment and maintenance they implicate. Still, they are a fun way to connect with nature and help birds survive the winter, though they do require a constant investment in new bird seed. Check out my new playlist, The Complete Guide to Feeders, which I'll list below for more info. 1. Make some birdhouses. With the lack of natural tree hollows in developed areas, nesting areas for cavity nesters can be difficult to find. That's why one of the easiest ways to help birds is to set up a few nest boxes in your yard. You can either buy or build your own boxes, but you still need to make sure that it's properly designed and placed so birds actually use it, and young actually fledge from the box. General guidelines for design are: use untreated wood, make simple, well-roofed, but still breathing houses, and for placement, depending on the species you're trying to attract and the predators nearby, mount on a tree, post, house, pole, or even chain. And adjust height of box according to the species you wish to attract. For species-specific info and nest box plans, check out NestWatch for excellent and free information on all common nesting birds and other general nest box information. Other ways to help wildlife through creating nesting sites is bee houses, squirrel boxes, bumblebee boxes, bat boxes, and ways to provide shelter or habitat include tree frog houses, frog and toad houses, and bird roosting boxes, though all of these require a little more work and sometimes even more land to get right, so best left till later on in your yard restoration journey. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, and like.